Hey everyone, welcome back. Vitaly is here. An unprecedented 3.28 million people applied for unemployment benefits in just 1 week. That's way above the previous record set in 1982, where only 695,000 people applied for unemployment benefits. This surge may be just the beginning, as there are around 67 million people who work in jobs with high risk of layoff. Sadly, but the Fed's Jim Bullard's comment about the unemployment soaring to 30% is most likely going to be true. Understanding the seriousness of this situation, the federal government is rushing to pass a legislation called the CARES Act, short for the Coronavirus Aid, Relief and Economic Security Act. The CARES Act is a $2 trillion financial aid package aimed to help businesses and individuals affected by the coronavirus and lockdown. Like the initial jobless claim number, this is the largest financial aid in the history. It's by $1.3 trillion bigger than the financial rescue plan of 2008. So let's take a look closely at the CARES Act and its key provisions. But before we dive in, it's worth mentioning two things. Number one, the CARES Act has not been enacted yet. It was approved by Senate on Wednesday and was sent to the House of Representatives. The House is supposed to vote on the bill today and Friday, and once approved, the President will sign the legislation immediately. So let's hope there won't be any delays, as the help is indeed very much needed. Number two, the bill itself isn't a panacea and may be not enough to prevent the short-term hit. Most likely, additional stimulus will be needed in the near future. As I mentioned previously, the bill is aimed to help both businesses and individuals. So let's start with corporate provisions first, and then we'll make our way down to what's in the bill for individual taxpayers and how the bill is supposed to help regular folks. We'll also talk about the eligibility criteria that you need to pass in order to be eligible to get the free money checks that the government will be sending. One of the provisions of the bill will create a $500 billion liquidity fund for larger corporations, states and cities. This will include loans and other financial assistance. The sticking point of this part was over what form of aid to provide to airlines. It's no secret that airlines wasted billions of dollars doing stock buybacks, and it turned out to be a real disaster. This cannot be repeated in the future, and the bill will specifically prohibit airlines as well as other companies receiving loans from doing stock buybacks through the term of the loan plus 1 additional year. On top of it, the companies will limit executive bonuses and will need to protect their workers. My 2 cents here is that the restrictions imposed are not as harsh as I thought they would be, but it's better than nothing. Business leaders and corporate executives need to understand that they need to protect not only the interests of their shareholders, but also protect the interests of other people, including their own workers. Small businesses will get cash injections in the total amount of $350 billion, much of which would be in loans through Small Business Administration and banks. What's important here is that these loans can be forgiven if businesses meet certain requirements, such as limiting reductions in pay and layoffs. I have no doubt that it's going to be extremely tough for businesses to meet these requirements, but despite these draconian rules, I still think that this aid is going to help companies who are cash-strapped, who are on brink of bankruptcy, to get back on track and resume their operations as soon as the lockdown is over. The financial aid package will also include $100 billion for hospitals. The bill will require boosting medical supplies in the strategic national stockpile and health insurance companies paying for the coronavirus testing. I think no comments are needed here, and I sincerely hope that the aid will be enough to finally give healthcare workers whatever they need in order to protect their own lives and save the lives of others. So thank you very much for all your help that you will do out there. The bill will also provide 4 months of bolstered unemployment benefits due to rising jobless claims. The maximum unemployment benefit would go up by $600 a week on top of the state limits, and will also include gig economy workers such as Uber drivers. Another important provision of the CARES Act is that the federal student loan payments will be deferred by 6 months through the end of September 2020. On top of it, if you were getting financial assistance from your employer to pay the loan, this assistance, this aid, won't be included in your taxable income, meaning that you will not have to pay taxes on the aid. Homeowners who have mortgages on their houses will also be able to get some relief. If you have an FHA loan or a VA loan, you would be eligible for forbearance. If you have a loan that is backed by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, you would also be eligible to skip payments. The bill would also allow to take up to $100,000 out of an employer-sponsored retirement plan without a penalty. I ask you to think of this option only as your last resort. Tap into your retirement funds only in case of real hardship. If you cannot take money out of your retirement plan, leave the money there. Also, don't forget that even if you decide to tap into your retirement funds, you will still have to pay taxes. All the retirees won't have to take required minimum distributions from their IRA accounts, so they don't have to sell in a down market. As you can see, many of these, if not all provisions, are certainly going to help both businesses and individuals during these tough times. But there is one very important provision that I saved for last. The CARES Act provides for direct payments to low and middle income Americans of up to $1,200 for individuals and up to $2,400 for married couples who file taxes jointly. In addition to that, there is an additional $500 payment per child. The money won't be counted as taxable and will be considered a credit instead, so you can deduct it against your future taxes. Obviously, not everyone is going to receive the check. There is simply no point to send the check to those who make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year or to those who make millions of dollars a year. In order to be eligible to receive the check, your adjusted gross income has to be within certain income limits. If your income is below $75,000 as an individual, $112,500 as the head of household, or below $150,000 as married couple filing taxes jointly, you will be eligible to receive the whole amount. If your income exceeds these limits, the check will be reduced by $5 for every $100 exceeding the above limits. Finally, the cutoff for individuals is $99,000, $146,500 for the head of household, and $198,000 for the married couples with no children. If you rely on government benefits programs such as supplemental Social Security income, do not worry at all. You are still eligible to receive the check. Finally, you might wonder, how is the government going to determine your income? And for this, they're gonna take a look at your most recent tax return. If you haven't filed your 2019 taxes yet, the government will look at your 2018 tax return and will determine your eligibility based on your 2018 income. In my next video, I will talk about how you can spend the stimulus check, but for now, let's not count chickens before they're hatched. Let's wait for the House to approve the law and for the President to sign it. Okay guys, that's it for now. If you like the video, please hit the like button down below, or even better, subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching and talk to you soon.